We are back again. Okay, today we are going to drink one of the things that is always a favorite of me, which is an oolong tea. And this is from the big box of Oolong experience from Mochai. Hello, Hakisumi, lurk, lurking around. Thank you. So today we are going to have, let's see if I can pronounce it correctly, Xueli Posho Wulong Cha. So that means Snow Pear Buddha's Hand. Snow Pear Buddha's Hand Oolong Tea. Oh, we got a D&D session. Oh, nice. Dungeons and Dragons, you said, right? Nice. I have not played any of it, but every time when I see things like that, it kind of looks fun, but it also kind of looks like it's gonna take a lot of energy because you have to keep reminding about your characters. And also the storyteller is like, that kind of stuff. It kind of looks difficult in a way to know what character you have and what powers it has. So you really have to keep notes on that one. Talking about notes. Yeah, I can imagine that can be confusing at the start. There's a lot of things happening, of course. It's I mean, you kind of have to get into the rules that the dungeon master is making as well, the storyline and all that kind of stuff. So I can think there's some confusion in the start, and of course a lot of freedom comes with that as well. Yeah, I think the stress is more for the dungeon master indeed. I can imagine. Just think about, yeah, the dungeon master kind of has to get all the information about the characters ready. During the game, things change. So I think the dungeon master kind of needs to keep updated about all this kind of information and changing things. So it's a very complicated something. It's a hard job, yes. I can imagine. I also think that being a dungeon master could actually be very creative story, because you're a storyteller as well. You're the, I guess, the director, or what was it called? You have when you're making a movie and stuff like that. It's like you are creating the base storyline, but the characters and the people who play with you are changing your story in a way. So it actually is also part in the job section as well. So if you are in a leadership role, yes, you might be the leader and you have a specific set of rules that you need to follow, but you also have people that need to follow you, and they change your story as well. So I can imagine these things can be very complicated. Hello there, Clumpy. The goal is always to have fun. Yes, I can imagine. And that is always the goal. Like, it doesn't matter if it's a game or live, but it is always the goal to have fun. And talking about fun, we are going to try a tea that I found that has quite a funny name, which is called Buddha's Hand. And I had to look it up, and it's actually a fruit that has these like fingertips, kind of, almost looks like a fruit kind of shaped like this. So it was very interesting. And because we have an oolong, it's gonna be 100 degrees this time. It was also mentioned on the website. So I'm gonna read the story from the website as well. This is from Mochai. Xueli Posho Wulong Cha. That went probably wrong in many ways. Snow Pear and Buddha's Hand Oolong Tea. Yongchung Xueli Shou is a traditional oolong tea made from the red sprouting variety of the Shou tea bush. Grown at an altitude of around 800 meters, on the border of Yongchun and Dehua counties, which is in Fujian province, That well, I heard that name before. I believe there's a lot of pottery as well there, if I'm correct. Hello, Resetter. Its name meaning Buddha's hand. So the name for Xueli for Shou, that is Buddha's hand, comes from the shape of the leaves, which resembles the citron fruit and are said to evoke the image of a monk's open palm. I'm going to quickly show you what the Buddha's hand fruit looks like. I have not tasted it, so I cannot say anything. Buddha's hand fruit. This is actually, that's very, very funny. Okay, I'm gonna put it on my tea cam. So this is what the fruit looks like. Kind of looks like a hand with fingers on it. So the tea that we're going to drink has a resemblance of this taste. It's a really crazy looking fruit over here. I kind of wonder what it tastes like. And how to eat it. I think how to eat it is probably my biggest question. And if you look at the size reference, this is what it looks like. So I have no idea. This is gonna be a surprise. Let's see. The tea is picked by hand and using the standard of 1 bud and 3 leaves. It's processed using a traditional strong shaking method to bring out the tea's signature fruity and floral character. The spring harvest took place in the middle of April, followed by charcoal baking in August to complete the tea's development. Processing includes sun withering, repeated tossing with precise moisture control, semi-fermenting, fixation, rolling, drying, and a final long and low temperature charcoal baking. And the tea leaves are tightly curled, semi-ball shaped, and glossy dark green. I have no idea what they look like because they're still in this package. And when brewed, Xueli for Shou produce a bright orange yellow. That's why I went over for my glass Gongdabe, because I kind of want to see the liquor in that one. And the liquor with a bold, smooth taste and a deep fruity and floral aroma. The tea is known for its fo shou yun, which means a soft, long-lasting fragrance, reminiscent of citron or pear. So citron or pear. It's gonna be interesting. And it lingers in both cup and throat. Well, they're saying that we need 7 grams on 120 milliliter pot, about 100 degrees Celsius. The first brewing would be 10 seconds, and we increase by 5 to 10 seconds each round. And it said many infusions. So looking forward to this one. Oh, also note, you can, if you use 8 grams, you can use it on a 3 to 500 milliliter teapot for 10 minutes. So it's more like a Western brewing. And you can also cold brew this tea. So I only have 1 package. So if this is a good one, we could buy a bigger one. But first, let's try out what this is and how it tastes. There we go. So what I'm gonna do is I'm first gonna present the tea leaves. Ooh. Why does all the oolongs always smell a bit chocolatey to me? Why? Why is it? I really had all my chocolate intake. I have all the chocolate intake that I can get, but why does it always smell chocolatey? Oh, by the way, this package is 7 grams, so we're gonna use the whole package. Okay, okay. Do I need another filter on this one? I think I need. Because I do see some loose debris in here. So loose parts. I'm quickly going to grab another filter because I think No, I know for sure that this teapot is not gonna hold out all the debris. So I'm gonna quickly grab another filter for my gong dabe. In the meantime, I'm gonna get you guys close on hello Pear and the tea leaves so that you at least can see them a little bit. And let's have this dorky one next to it. There we go. So, be right back. Yay! There we go. So we are going to use this little filter to filter out many of the debris, because as you probably can see, there is some loose debris in there already. And it does have a beautiful dark greenish color. Very beautiful. Look at this little fella. So I am going to warm up my gear. There we go. It didn't say anything about washing the tea, so I'm not gonna do that. Besides, I always drink the rinse anyway, so that doesn't matter. Small little cup to see the color. If there are any changes, of course. I think there are. Just checking underneath if everything is safe underneath the table. There we go. This fellow to the side. Okay. Let's use my Hello Kitty spoon to get the tea in the teapot. Yes, there's a lot of debris in here, so... Oh, that's an interesting smell. So when you just smelled it from the package, it had this kind of a chocolatey smell. But just something happened when your teapot is warm, you put in the dried leaves, and they steam a little bit, so... And there's the hint of citric in there, yes, definitely. Though I cannot really place the citrus, like... Because there is also that chocolate smell in there. Why is there always chocolate in it? Maybe that's the reason why I like oolong tea. Okay, Normally when I have a sour smell, it reminisces most of the time like prunes or more like a berries kind of sour, but this is definitely a different kind of sour that I haven't smelled before. You know what? Let's brew the first one. We are going to brew for 10 seconds, so I'm going to get everything ready. I believe my teapot is about 120, 150-ish, so we should be fine. Yeah, I am glad I took my filter. There's a lot of debris coming off. A lot of it. We do have a very beautiful color. As far as you can see it. That went to a whole different story in the smell bank. Wow. That changed a lot. So we had this first smell that had this like a kind of a citric smell, like I do not know how Buddha's hand fruit smells, but if it would be a lighter version of lemon, like that kind of sourness. But there's another note in there that I cannot really place. Let's give it a go. Cappy. Give the animals a bit of tea as well. Try to smell from the different cups to see what happens. I think from porcelain it smells the best, I guess. Also from glass, by the way. That's a light first infusion. There's a soft sweetness in there. I do think that when we have an infusion later, there would be a citric note popping up more. Because I do kind of feel like it might be there already, just in the very, very back of it. Feels very fresh in the mouth. Okay, just kind of a refreshing feeling in the mouth. Hmm? So we had our first infusion. I think that was kind of a light one. I always don't know if I need to count when I'm done filling my teapot or while I'm pouring in the teapot. So I always find it a little bit more difficult to to see when to count. What I did for the past years, most of the time I count when I put on the lid. So I guess I always have a bit longer steepings. Gives a fresh feeling in the mouth, but not in the citric kind of way. I think next fusions is gonna be more get a deeper layer. I think. By the way, my filter is 25%, so I don't know if that's also something happening over there. If it's filtering enough the water enough, so I got quite some space on this side, and actually not a lot of space on that side. Should I buy a bigger tea table? Like a bigger... No way. No, I won't. I think this is a comfortable working area. There we go. I have not been on a hike anymore since last time because my blisters are still huge. They are still very painful. I did went with Bali TV on a shopping spree. Not really a shopping spree, but we went shopping for some items. By IKEA. Yeah. And eventually I did notice a lot of pain in my blisters. I did tape them off with you know, with some, what's it called? Why did I forget the name of that one? Pleister. Come on. A bandage. Thank you. But the bandage area is too small for my blisters, so I accidentally taped a bit on the thin skin of my blister. And when I had to remove it, it was kind of painful. So that didn't really wasn't very helpful. But eventually I got wounds underneath that blister part, so I'm still healing. It's still painful. Especially my right foot is very painful. But I think they're going to be eventually they're going to be fine. It is still painful, but I don't see a wound anymore. It's not bleeding, so that's good. But yeah, it was kind of painful. But I haven't been on a hike since then because shoes are painful and I cannot wear slippers because it was too cold outside. So no hiking, unfortunately. Maybe I should get some hiking slippers or something. I have no idea. Walking on a slow pace. Yeah, I was walking on a slow pace until I had to run for the bus. That was not a slow pace. But yeah, you can still feel when you're rubbing your heel against an edge. You can still feel that. So I'm also looking for new hiking shoes. And with Joe, I went to the Beaver Sport, which is an outdoor shop, and he went there for hiking boots because I told him to get hiking boots because working shoes are fine, but hiking boots are better. They are much lighter. They are much more more comfortable. They are also give a lot of support without like restricting. And I think that's very important with hiking shoes and hiking boots. It should not be restricting at all. You should be able to move your toes. You should be able to move around a little bit, but it should also hugging your feet. Yeah, hugging your feet in a way, in a good way. So I also found a pair of hiking boots that were actually very good looking, actually. But I always have to take one size bigger, and my ego don't want to go with bigger shoes. Because I always feel like, that 1 centimeter bigger makes my foot pop out like a huge thing, which is not. I'm talking about just 1 centimeter, but in my mind, it looks huge. It's just, I don't know. It's weird. And the reason why I had to go a size bigger is because when you walk downwards, your foot would slide a little bit forward, and you want to prevent your toes from touching the edge. Because can you imagine when you walk down a mountain or walking down a high steep hill and you keep butting your toes into the edge? That's gonna be painful. I've been there before, done that before. My toenails are black, and it takes some time to heal. So that is not good. So that's why you take one size bigger to prevent your toes from hitting the edge. So it's a very good advice, and you really should take that advice, especially if you have uphill, downhill walking. I don't think it's very important when you just have a normal area where you don't have much hills on it, so that should be fine. But then I was looking like, yeah, but am I going to use these in the mountain? And if I go to the mountain, wouldn't I be using other shoes that are more sturdier than that? So eventually I didn't get new shoes. Joe did. They look cool, by the way. They were the same model as I had in my mind, but I had like a more of a yellow color, and he has a yellow-brown color, and he has a greenish color. Look very cool. But he took his own size because he was like, yeah, I don't care about the mountain, going down the mountain and stuff like that. So, but for me, it would be very important to do so. Because, yeah, I would like to hike these kind of trails eventually. But, yeah, let's first, get a little bit better at hiking regular. But therefore, I probably still need to get myself some regular hiking shoes just for around the areas. But yeah, I'm still debating, do I want hiking boots that are more for longer hikes, or do I go for hiking sneakers? So, I don't know. These blisters were for my hiking sneakers. And I'm sad that these comfortable shoes gave me such huge ass blisters. Anyway, let's go for a second steeping. Second steeping means we're going for 10 seconds plus 5 or 10. Yeah, I think we can go for 15 seconds in this case. I go directly on the leaves. I make little circles. I think these are about 15 seconds. And again, a beautiful color. Yes, like a gold orange color indeed. I cannot really say if there's a color change. I do think there is actually. Ooh, we got a very chocolatey smell from the glass Gongda Bay. With a sour note to it. Oh, there's a big sour note coming out from the teapot. There's also a sour note coming out right now from the teacup itself. Hmm? Okay, second infusion is much, much better. Mm. It has something sweet, like honeyed sweet. I would also say something chocolatey, but that's just me. And I don't really like how it lingers in the mouth. It gives a really, really fresh feeling to the mouth. Like a bit of a Manuka honey kind of flavor. Manuka honey is a bit more, what's it called? A bit more, it's a different kind of sweet. But there is some soft chocolatey kind of taste to it as well. But not very heavy. Like it's a very fresh kind of tea. Do you have the chocolatey kind of taste? This is just... That's quite bitter. Oh, there's a citric coming up. Oh, there's a citric flavor coming up right now. That's interesting. So that's funny how how it just got changed a little bit, because there were so many different notes like popping up. We had a bit of a sweetness that kind of had kind of bit of a Manuka honey. Then also something like a chocolatey kind of taste. Like a bitter chocolate kind of taste, but not, the tea is not bitter at all. And now there's also some citric popping up. It's just little notes. Just little notes that are just popping up this way. Interesting. And now that the Gongda Bay is more cooled down, there is also a floral note to the smell. Now I really wonder what this tea would taste like if you would make a cold brew, actually. That would be very interesting. Because I always wonder what happens if you make a cold brew, what kind of notes are popping up more. Really, it kind of reminds me, if you have like a very dark chocolate, like that kind of chocolatey kind of sweetness with a hint of sourness to it. Interesting. I like it. Okay, I'm going to change a little bit of position. Wow, there we go. I'm giving my knees a bit more comfort. Oh, there we go. You know, when you're 39, you kind of want to be comfortable. There we go. Oh, but when I'm sitting like this, it feels like I'm getting much higher. I don't think it is, but I still forgot to upload the videos from the past VODs. I think I still have like 2 more videos to upload. I think. Let me check. There are still some VODs. And uploading the VOD is not the problem because we've got quite quick internet. But the problem is that all the timestamps. Making the timestamps is quite a thing because I'm looking at the video and I'm making the timestamps when I'm making a new brew, when there's a specific something in the video. I'm also making a timestamp. I also try to count the amount of steeping time that I do. I think actually I should get myself a little notebook and just say how many seconds it was, or I should just say it in the video so I can have the timestamp very easily that way. Yeah, my last one was the Georgian Gabati, which was 2 weeks ago. So I have 1 video to upload and then this video, I think. Oopsie. Yeah. Yeah, we got some things to upload. But like I said, it just takes a bit more time because I'm making those timestamps. And I don't even know who's watching them, but there are not a lot of people who are watching the VODs, but it's more like, you know, it's if you have a 2-hour video going on, it's very nice to have some timestamps to see where you're going, and it's a lot easier to get through a video and get in there. Oh, I'm already starting to get hungry. Oh dear. So let's make more tea. Should we get the... we're just gonna do the tea cam again. So we had 15 seconds last time. Gonna add 5 seconds more, which is gonna be 20. So, Bunny TV, how is your cooking station? Been able to prepare some good meals or finding your spaghetti? Still a very beautiful golden color in here. Can't really see much from the teapot, but remember that I said that there was another smell that I cannot get my nose on, and now it's popping up in the cup. I think we can brew a little longer on this one. I'm actually surprised how gentle this tea tastes. When they were talking about a citron kind of taste, I was kind of scared that it would blow out my mouth. But actually, it's very gentle. So what do you smell when you blow it? Roses. Oh, really like how it stays in the mouth. Hey, Centeria! Back from a board game weekend. He doesn't drink tea! Whoa! What does he drink? What does your Chinese friend drink? I mean, I can understand people who don't like tea, but it's a preference, I guess. Ooh, drinks his coffee black. I believe that there are teas that actually have this... don't have the black coffee taste, but it can be very strong. So maybe a very strong tea? You had a board game weekend. What board games did you play? I still have Risk laying around, but it was such a long time ago that I played Risk that I was probably busy reading for 1 hour the rules of the game, and also playing with Joe, so just the two of us. So I really had to read through all the rules and how it worked, and when we finally set up, it was dinner time, so we got not very far. Ooh. Wait, what? From 2 in the afternoon to almost 1 in the night? What the? Oh my god, that's a long board game. That's a long board game. I know Risk can take quite some time. Yay, we got a spammer. What are we gonna do with spams? We are going to delete the spam. Unless we want top viewers, indeed. Let's see. I have to do that in my... Where's my chat on this one? Wait. There were... delete. And bye. What if you want bottom viewers? Scratch that. No. You want bottom viewers. Okay. But geez, that's a long board game. I know, there was one time, one game. It was such a long time ago for me, really. It was such a long time ago. I believe the game was called Mr. X. And you had to go undercover and had to take public transport all the time just to get around the board without getting caught by the police, so by the other players. There was one guy who was very good at it, like extremely good at it. It took us so long to get that guy, really. It was so annoying, and every time when he was playing Mr. X, he had his head on, and he was just looking at one point of the board. It almost looks like he knew the board by heart. And you thought he would be over there, but he would be actually over there. And he would have the biggest poker face on his face as well. And laughing at you. When you would go the other side, he would laugh at you. But eventually I found out that when he starts to laugh, you're actually close. So that was his poker face. It was actually very fun, but it took a while to catch that guy. You also first time trying out. Yeah, like I said, Risk took me for already 1 hour to just get it straight. And we couldn't play any further because we had to use the table for dinner, so we still haven't finished the game. I think that's the only board game that we own. Do you have any board games that you can play with 2 players? That is actually fun to do. You do. Tell me. Chess. That's a brain-breaking thing. Hello soul. Chess, but chess is a good one indeed. It's very good for your mind. I am also going to write it down. Board games. So we have Jaipur, chess. Thank you so much. It's actually the sleeping room, but I fold up the bed and then everything is like this. So I always wake up looking at this beautiful wall. Let's see. Okay, the smell is really getting softer and very gentle, so we really have a very soft, sweet smell. So this was our third brewing. I kind of wonder how many brewings we can get out of this one. I brewed another pot of water, so should we go for a 4th one? Also, we had a 20 seconds last time. I think we can go for 30 seconds and see what happens if the flavor gets a bit stronger. They're clumpy. Now time to relax. You already should be relaxing. Okay, let's go closer to the teapot. So we go for a, let's say 30 seconds, maybe 35. I go directly on the leaves, making circles. 100-degree water. I think we are at a 30 seconds. So let's get a bit closer on this one. See if there's a color change. I do know that I'm leaking on my leg. That was not supposed to happen. There we go. We still have a beautiful color. It also feels a bit heavy on my teapot, so I think there's a lot on the opening of my teapot. Let's see. Ah, yeah, okay, that's the reason. So a lot of the leaves got actually to the spout of the teapot. Still a very beautiful color. Really, the color keeps strong, like a golden yellow. So I think we had a 30 seconds. Wait, not GTO, but GTFO. What? Was it online gaming session? There we go. So we have a bit of a longer brewing. Let's see what happens. My husband say that he says it's not much of a change, but I think there is. I feel like there is this sour note popping up a little bit more. I think actually there's a little bit of a sour note popping up. He says less bitter, but the tea wasn't bitter to begin with. This is a bit stronger. That's what I like about tasting tea. He tastes a whole different thing. I still keep that sweet note in there. There's also a little bit of a sourness popping up. It's so gentle. It's really not... Why do you say yogurt? You are your yogurt yourself. Those are two very different ones. Okay, my husband is trying to explain to me the sourness that he's experiencing. He says that it reminds him a little bit of yogurt. And then he said Yakult. I wouldn't say yogurt itself because yogurt is really sour. If you say Yakult, the combination of the sweetness of Yakult together with the sourness of that drink, perhaps, yes. No, but far it's not as sour as yogurt. I really like how these two flavor profiles is really like so different from each other. For me, there's a more of a sweetness. The sourness, I try to figure out where his palate is popping in with the yogurt part. It's not the sourness that you would have from a citric kind of sour. That's why I say it's a very gentle sourness. In that case, I think Joe is right when it comes to the type of sourness from a yogurt kind of sour. So when you take a spoon of yogurt, it's not as sour as when you take a bite from a lemon. Like I said, it's a very gentle one. Yes, hibiscus is very good for a cold brew. You can make a very good iced tea with with hibiscus. I really look forward to try it again. I am going to scoop away some of the leaves from my spout because that was the reason why it was not pouring properly. Did you also use something else with your hibiscus? Or it was tea with hibiscus? Because you can make a whole combination indeed with hibiscus flowers. It was a tea with hibiscus. Hibiscus is very, I think it's very refreshing to drink that one in the summer. Yes. I believe hibiscus also had a bit of a sour note to it, if I'm correct. That's why it's so refreshing in the summer to drink it. Yeah, exactly. And I think I wouldn't say that it has the same profile, but they say that this tea also has this citron kind of sourness, but it's very gentle. And I'm using like a full 7 grams on this teapot, so. But that's. I really like hibiscus tea in summer as well. And I already had a lot of green tea this morning, so I'm glad to drink some oolong today. So I still have this little bit of a chocolatey smell to it. Not much, but it's still there. You know what? I'm just gonna brew another one. We had 30 seconds. Let's go longer. And I am going to use a little timer because my brain. I know it doesn't have to be perfect, but. So we had 30 seconds. I'm going for 45 seconds, and that's gonna be the 5th or 6th brewing. Pouring directly on the leaves. Gosh, I'm starting to get hungry. Oh, it just went to 46 seconds. Minutes. No, not minutes. Okay, that was not the one that I wanted. 40 minutes would be a little bit of a long steeping, so I'm put it now on 40 seconds, probably pour it out a little earlier. Why not? You really can add these hibiscus flowers also to different, like, can make a whole blend out of it, and that's so nice to have these homemade blends. I have to look up for another of that one. Now I also want to drink some hibiscus. Okay. I do think that the color is getting a little bit more lighter. Look at it. Yes, the color is getting lighter, so we are more to a yellow golden color. And in the beginning we had a bit of an infusion that had a bit of more of a orange to it. I can also see it in the cups that it's getting a bit lighter. Yes, I'm ringing the bell to get him, so I don't have to yell. It works. It works. I mean, yeah, why not? It's a cute little bell. It's from Switzerland. We actually bought it for the cat as a little cowbell around her collar, just for fun, for a photo or something. But we never did that. But and then we were like, oh, I can use it to call my husband when the tea is ready. Still yogurty? No? No more yogurt? Okay. Describe it. I think there's still a lot more citricy kind of taste to it. Yes, they're clumpy. He's bell trained. Okay. My husband says it tastes like autumn. Mm-hmm. Yes, and okay, yes, okay, I understand. Okay, he said it tastes like autumn. When you are walking in a forest, especially when it's raining during autumn, there's a specific kind of smell in the air, which is on the sweet side. I wouldn't say sour side, but on the sweet side. And he explains that it almost tastes like if you would have your cup underneath those red leaves, and if the red leaves would drip into your cup, he said that would taste like autumn. I get what he means. It's the sweetness, it's the warmth. There is a specific sourness to it. I guess that's the... I do know what he means. I do really know what he means. I understand what he means. No, to me it's a light tea, so for me this would be very good during spring, but I do understand when you say it tastes like autumn. Smell or taste?
Smell tastes.
It's very interesting. I'm just gonna have a sip from the first brewing to see. Like crispy leaves. Crispy leaves, you say. Okay, if you taste a little bit of this first one, now it's a little bit cold. To me, there's a chocolate in there. Yes, I know it's different because it's the first brewing and it's cold, so... Chocolate, right? So the first cup tastes a bit like chocolate, like 80% dark chocolate. While these brewing afterwards, like, we did get a note where we get a citric kind of note. And now that it's towards the, I don't know, 7 brewing, I'll just have to look it up in YouTube again, I guess. My husband says that he would drink this in autumn because it reminds him of autumn. Like a rainy day in autumn, that kind of smell that hangs in the air. That's what it reminds him of it. And he said if autumn would have a taste, it would be this tea. Like literally this tea. And I understand where he gets from, but because the tea, for me, feels gentle, I think this is actually a good tea to drink during spring. So there's not really much of a spring weather outside, so I don't know what it would taste like on a spring day. when it's sunny. But I think because it's light, because it has a light feeling in the mouth, even though it has the taste of autumn, it is as light as spring. It almost sounds poetic. That's why I kind of wonder what happens if you cold brew this tea, like they already said. If there's a more citric note dominant. I think it would be. Let's see, he's bell trained. Next you can get those buttons. Map! Oh, you mean the table button? You mean like ting? You mean that one? Because I have seen that one. And I was thinking about it. Oh, those buttons for cats. I'm afraid my cats would start talking to me and tell me like, feed me, feed me, feed me. Treats, treats, treats. What else do they want? Clean litter box, clean litter box. More treats, more treats. Probably they have something like that. Pet me, pet me. I think my cats would actually tell me those kind of things. I don't know, Ayimi can give me a high five, so I know she can be trained, but the other cat... let's say I'm just happy she can sit down on her butt when she gets a treat. But yeah, we can use that for Joe. Let's see. Okay, from the glass, it does have a floral note to it. And when it's cooled off in the teapot, there's also a floral note to it. I am just going for another brew, because why not? Let's go for a whole minute. Because we can. I have 1 minute and 15 seconds on my phone. Might be a bit on the too much, but look at this little fella. He's so cute. I haven't seen my cats yet. I've not been popping up on the stream. They are probably sleeping on the couch or loafing on the heater. I think they're loafing on the heater. 25 seconds to go. And we have a 1 minute and 15 seconds. As you can see already on the color, it's still as a brewing before, so we are getting on a lighter side. It's a very... For a 1 minute steeping, this is getting light, so... And keep in mind, my teapot is also a lot bigger. I never gave my tea pets this many tea before. I don't know if the bell is annoying for you guys, but yelling is a lot more annoying for my throat, so... I do know it does smell autumn. It's getting on the light side, isn't it? Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a long steeping. Like, God knows kind of steeping. Let's see what happens. This is gonna be the last one, that's for sure. They say you can cold brew this one. Yes. So maybe I just have to buy a sample package again and see what happens with a cold brew. No, I mean with a cold brew you just put it somewhere and then, you know, you just brew it with cold water, not with cooking water. Yeah, not water? Probably not. Mega tasty. Indeed. I let my tea cool off back then and I used the one water jar. Oh, mega tasty. Well, we're gonna have a good steeping right now as well. But I think I kind of wonder if I can buy a sample package of this one and make a cold brew. Let's see if they still have sample packages of this one. So we had the package Xueli. Yes, he does have a sample package. So I can order a sample package and see what happens if you make a cold brew out of this one. But I'm also kind of wondering the... Oh, there's also thermos brewing. So the thermos brewing of this one is 8 grams per 3 to 500 milliliters. A steep covered for 10 minutes about. And they say it can also be cold brewed overnight for a sweet, refreshing tea. So that's why I think that this tea is actually a good tea for when the weather is a little bit more warmer. Even though it tastes like autumn for my husband. Like I said, this is I think it's a very gentle oolong. I had oolongs before that were like very strong and heavy feeling, but this one actually feels refreshing. So I think that's why I think it's a light oolong. You think that you are ready, but okay. Oolong bubble tea. That sounds good. I also want a bubble tea oolong. Did you also have the milk in it? Gosh, now I also want a bubble tea. Nowadays, when I go to VP, to our bubble tea shop, I always take matcha Oreo with coconut milk. And it's so amazing. It sounds extremely sweet. It isn't. When I take the regular Hong Kong milk tea, that tea is actually sweeter than the matcha Oreo. It's crazy. But it's a lot more difficult to drink because they really put a whole cookie in there. Or a crust cookie in there. And you have to get it through the straw. And it's like, yeah, when I get back home, I'm just gonna spoon out the cookie. No, it tastes so good. It really tastes so good. I really like it. But instead of using the straw, you just have to get yourself a spoon with that one. Because the cookie is soaking up the tea itself. So that's why it's like, just get a spoon and eat it like that. Yes, I am back on my regular spot, and I am on my last brewing, which is already more than 5 minutes. I'm almost scared to try this one, so we're gonna brew a little longer. Because I want to pour some water extra. There we go. 2013. That's cute. At AnimeCon. I think I can beat you on that one. If you are a hipster, then what am I when I tell you that I had boba teas in 2006 or 7 at a Chinese shop, and you had to go there early because the bobas were most of the time gone, or yeah, they were most of the time they were gone, and they had to make it with these little shaking machines. And when you get there and you ask for a boba tea, you often would get like, oh, the bobas are sold out, and they only just had just a little bit. You got about 6 to 8 of these little boba bowls in your cup. That was the maximum back then. Good old times. But I do like the fact that when I drink a boba tea that I get a big spoon of bobas in there. But back in the time it was just like 6 or 8 of these little balls in there, and that was the maximum you got. The founder. You're the hipster, I'm the founder. But yeah, it was very it was really a thing over there back then. And it was just I think it was a restaurant, but they had this little cafe part to the side. And I think it was the only shop back in the day. Yeah, matcha, I don't know. I think it became hyped because every time when there is a study about the health benefits of something, an item becomes a hype. It has been avocados before. People were eating avocados like the only meal at a whole day. But I noticed that every time when something gets a health benefit list, it becomes a hype. Oh, it's healthy, so therefore I overuse it. And because people are overusing it, it becomes expensive. That's the problem. So, Yeah, exactly. Also, everyone goes to Japan, and before it was only really people that were interested in that culture, or indeed really into the anime kind of stuff, or had at least a specific something with Japan. And I remember my first time in Japan, which was in 2008. Yes, 2008. My first time in Japan, I remember having Dutch people walking around somewhere, and they were complaining about the food, like, oh, they only have rice and they only have this, and I'm so done, and I just want a burger. And I'm like, you are aware that you are in an Asian country that has a different flavor profile. I mean, it's when I go to China or to Hong Kong, I know that the food is prepared different, and if I want something specific, I either have to make it myself or go to a chain that is more to Western style cooking. So, but I do not. I mean, I understand people going to Japan and going on an adventure in Japan as well. It's good. I mean, it's good to see different cultures, to experience different cultures, different food, different ways of thinking, handling, and all that kind of stuff. But the thing that I do not like is when people expect a country to provide your cultural things. That's a no. That's not gonna happen, you see. And yes, indeed, like the company said, it's also people ignore that if too much of something is not good for your health. You overuse chocolate in that case. I also overuse chocolate. That's totally fine. Come on, it's totally fine. It's chocolate. Yeah, if people could at least behave themselves in Japan. Indeed, correct. There is this thing that I know that Japan doesn't really have a lot of trash bins. And when they do have, there's a list of rules in what bin you have to throw your items. So that is a bit on the difficult side. In that case, I would say Japan, get some more trash bins. You know, that would be handy. Or get a map, or something to help us find the right trash can. You know. We are going on a dead steep, by the way. This is almost like 12 minutes. But yeah, when I was in Japan, I really had to learn that in Tokyo, you stand on the right side of the escalator so people could pass you on the left. No, the other way around. On the left side, so people pass you on the right side. In Osaka, it's the other way. You stand on the right side, but try to get into the flow. We are not going to do it perfectly. Absolutely not. We are foreigners. We are going to make mistakes. Sorry for that, but we have to get a bit into the vibe. Just it's a shame, and I think going to Japan for only the matcha or anything like that is. Get your matcha in a good spot. That's what I would recommend, to be honest. Yes, I would love to buy some matcha as well. But I like a normal, decent matcha is fine by me. I don't need the best of the best of the best. It's, I enjoy my matcha anyway. I've always been into the matcha. I have tasted bad matchas. Life is too short for a bad matcha, that's for sure. But a decent matcha is just as tasty. And I also had a matcha from a tea ceremony 2 tries actually. It's also very enjoyable, but it's not something for every single day. I do use a decent matcha for every day back in the time, but only 1 cup in the morning would be more than enough for health benefits out of it, for uh, a little kick in the afternoon if you need a pick me up or anything like it. But there's a people who are drinking it only, and then it gets too much, and that's something that is not good. Too much of something is never healthy, like never. I think there's a price on what's acceptable in tea. Exactly. So, like I said, I can understand why when there's health benefits that people want to get into the health benefits, but people always throw it out of the window by taking it too far again. And that's the problem. That's really the problem. You do not need a high-grade matcha for your matcha latte. Really, you don't need. Get a Chinese one. It's gonna be just as fine. If you want to experience like the matcha in a ceremonial way, or like really sitting down with it, or really have the health benefit with your morning breakfast and really having that beautiful cup, then you can get a decent one. If you really want to experience like in a whole setting of having a painting on a wall and really getting into the ceremony, get a ceremonial grade. You know, like there's a time and moment for a specific tea. I do not do this every day. Like I do this on a Sunday with you guys, and we really have a long steep here. I do this with you guys on a Sunday, but when I really want to get into my tea moment, I have a smaller setup than this, really, and then I take that moment. Most of the times, my tea really gets into this little mug with a filter on it. Last time I also brewed it directly on the filter itself to experience a different setting, and I was like, oh, I can also do it this way for a more a quicker way of brewing my tea. I just take less and enjoy that moment, and I try to get everything out of it. Like, it don't have any flavor anymore. So now it's really done. I have a very cheap oolong tea, the Iron Goddess one. Sorry, I forgot the Chinese name. Jin. I have a very cheap one. Like that cheap one is for daily use, and doesn't have to be perfect. I just have to dust it off with the first brewing first. That's one I do. I don't drink the first one most of the time. But when I take a more expensive tea, yeah, I want to have a setup. I want to sit down with it. I want to experience it. But if it's a regular tea, that's a different setting. And this is a different tea as well, you know? Wait, what? €1,000 tea is never 500 times better than regular cup of tea. I agree with you. I agree with you. There's a price tag on tea. I don't mind spending a bit more euros on a tea that is harvested and done in the proper hand-picked way than do it with a machine. So there's a difference in that one, but it doesn't have to be that more expensive. Yeah, you can pay €1,000 for tea, but I also think that it has to be something that is really hand-picked, hand-withered, hand sun-dried. Like, there should be probably no machine at all in that case. That would be my list of it should be that special. Like, handmade. Handmade, hand plucked, hand sun dried, hand everything, hand rolled. No machine should be in there. And if it's also aged, it should be properly aged. So then I can understand when things are getting priced up. But it should not be priced up because of a specific name. Sonic Fu, sorry for being late. No worries. You got iced lemon tea with Chinese steamed cake. Okay, I did found a recipe to make steam bun. like the Chinese steam bun. I'm just gonna get myself these items because I love a good steam bun. Okay, cool, but I recommend to change. Let's see. Even though the temperature isn't very high again, it's always sunny outside. The tree's starting to. Yes, I know. Don't forget to get vitamin C's. No, vitamin D. Vitamin D is what you get from walking. Vitamin C you get from fruits. Vitamin D is what you get. Drink water and open the windows. Yes. Do open the windows. Do also open the teapot because we are sleeping for 20 minutes almost. So we always have a. I think that's too pure. This is gonna be strong, I can. But yes, spring is here. So take walks, take hike, get your vitamin D's in there. Open up your windows. Really open up your windows. This is very good. I also open up the window before the stream also. Just to get some of the sunlight and the fresh air in here. Opening windows outside, horrible. No, it's good. It's good. You know, go outside, get a boba. That's also a hike, you know. Okay, a 20-minute brewing. I'm scared to try this. It is very difficult to get it out of my teapot. Oh, it's a very dark color as well. Just walk over there and think about the boba that you could have got if there would be open. No. Bolly TV and I went to he found a shop in Delft and we wanted to go there, and after that IKEA shop we were like, you know, we're finally going to Delft and we're going to go to that shop, and only to find out that it was closed. Jeez, I'm a bit scared to try this one. Look at the color. This is 20 minutes steeping. It did have a bit of an amber color to it, so it got a bit more orange. I am so scared to try this. Nope. Reset. So, 20 minutes of brewing. Tula would have called this probably a dead steep. Tula, where are you? I'm worried about you. I haven't seen Tula for quite a while, actually, so I'm pretty worried. I sent a few messages a few times, so no reply. The smell is actually very pleasant and very light. Are you ready for a 20-minute brewing? 20 minutes. Yes. He's also looking like, can I drink this? Oh, he went, oh. That's bitter for me. That's really bitter. Like, really bitter. You like your tea dark and strong. Yeah, my husband also likes his tea dark and strong. Does it taste like coffee to you? In a way. A very weak coffee. Okay, so. It tastes like a very weak coffee. Thank you. I was like, wow. You're such a crazy ass. Okay, this is not my cup of tea, but it is for my husband. I'm trying to figure out what kind of flavors just popped up. Like, I want to say this is like a weak coffee. It is very strong, but like not strong as in a very strong tea kind of strong, but you take a sip, it almost has this kind of a smoky profile. Like I said, it's more like a coffee actually. But the aftertaste is fine actually. So 20 minutes is a bit overdue. Don't that steep this one. I'm glad I just have a little first brewing over here. Wow, this is such a different taste. It's, I want to say smoky, but it's not smoky at all. But it's the first thing that kind of happens in your mouth. It's like, whoa, what's happening? Yeah, if he likes it, you also like it. Yeah. Yes, I must admit there's, it feels kind of smoky actually. It feels kind of that, if you have something smoky, it also happens a little bit in the mouth. Ooh, nutty oolongs. Yeah, more oxidized oolongs have this nutty flavor to it. Is that one strand of white hair a secret reference to Rogue? No, it's me just aging. Aging like a fine white tea. Yeah, it's no, I am really having a gray area coming up. And at one hand I feel a little bit uncomfortable, but at the same time I'm like, yeah, you know, it is going to happen. I'm 39, so I don't want to, I do want to dye my hair, but not yet. But it's not cosplaying, no. It's really it's me getting my gray hair in. Full Master Roshi to go full Master Roshi. Oh, they need the sunglasses as well, and then the hentai booklets as well, and then you're full Master Roshi in that case. I go back to my first brewing, which is a lot sweeter. Mm. 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 Okay, that was very, very pleasant to have this first brewing still sitting there because I needed that one. Yeah, I mean, it's, I don't know what it is. It's like, at one end, I am happy I'm turning gray. Oh, no, wait up. Stay there. At one end, I'm very happy that I'm turning gray because I always say that there are a lot of women who don't have got the experience to get gray. Like, too many people died on a young age and they never got the gray hairs that they probably wanted to experience. At the other hand, I find it difficult because as a woman, there's a lot of pressure on our appearance. Like, happily, things are changing in the world and women are being seen more as, oh, when they're aging, they are also aging very fine. And it's a normal thing. But back in the days, I have heard people saying, when are you going to dye your hair because it's getting gray? And every time I say, yes, I'm turning gray and I'm getting gray hairs, and there's a lot of women who did not get the experience to getting gray because they died. So I am not dyeing my hair because feeling uncomfortable of getting gray and because I have the pressure of looking young the whole time. I want to dye my hair because I want to dye my hair. But that's a bit of this part. At one hand, I want to dye my hair because I want to look a little bit younger, but at the same time, I'm like, my hair is actually white. Like, it's not gray, it is white. So I want to embrace that part Because when I look at my family members, we actually have white hair, like a white silvery hair in our family. And I would like to be that lady that has a beautiful white silvery long braid hair, or not like a beautiful long gray white hair. I can see myself as that lady. I think the only thing that I'm more worried about is my eyebrows. I would love to have my eyebrows a little bit more fuller. Because I did notice that when your eyebrows are also starting to get light, you get a little bit more older in your face. So I think I would dye my eyebrows. More like that. And if I want to dye my hair, it's still possible, but I want to do it because of me, because I want it, or because I want a little change, but not because of the pressure of getting older. It's actually a privilege to get older. Yeah, it's annoying. It's annoying when people pointing it out constantly every time. And also when you have curly hair, it's also annoying because the gray hairs don't work with you. They always work against you. If you want to curl it that way, they go the other way around. So that's also a downside of gray hair. It's a different structure and therefore it's more difficult to work with. Yeah. So basically already older than the lifespan back in the days from the kings that you're wearing the outfits from. Yes, coloring your hair is a very expensive thing and damaging. Yes, it is. But yeah, I think it's no. Don't feel guilty. No, don't feel guilty at all. I think it's. I also think it's actually, when you said rogue, I actually find it as a compliment. Because it is indeed this strand that is getting white, so yeah, I think it's a compliment. I am going to discard my tea in my prullenbakje. Gosh, little trash bin. And then we're going to clean things up. Oh wait, ooh. Wait, I do want to show you guys the tea before I discard it. Because that's a very specific shape, actually. Wait. So we were talking about the Buddha's hand, the fruit that kind of has this weird little fingers. And now I can see why they are saying it, because, okay, it might be a bit more difficult to see it on the webcam, but it does resemble a bit of that kind of weird fruit. Let's see if I can get a few leaves out. Yes, we have twigs in there. Quite some of these big tea leaves, actually. Okay, it was especially the first one that really had this Buddha hand kind of thing. But still having beautiful tea leaves. I am going to discard it on the chache. Oh my god, that's a is that a lottery? Like, look at this tea leaf, it's so big. That's a big tea leaf. Pear, go to side. That's a big leaf. Wow. Oh wow, look at this. Look at this. Okay, I'll just open it up. Look at this unit. Look at this tea leaf. This is huge. This is one huge tea leaf. I don't think it's gonna fit much on the vessel itself, so I think I will have to discard the rest of it in my... Just a little bit to show you guys. And my teapot is still half full, so there's quite some... it really pops open. Big. Yes, these are giant. These are giant leaves. They almost remind me of my medicine book. Which I have showed on the Discord channel. I got reminded why I don't often use my teapot, which is difficult to get clean. Yes, I was at a birthday yesterday, and my uncle didn't know I was turning grey. So when I greeted him, he held me and he was looking at me. Are you turning grey? I was like, yeah, for quite a long while already. I never noticed it. So, yes, I'm turning grey. So, but he was just amazed about it, like, oh, in shock. Let's see if I can get... I'm gonna use my fresh water to see if I can get some of the tea leaves out this way. Instead of hot water, I'm just using the filtered water to see. I think most of the tea should be out. Okay, everything's so good underneath the table. Yes, okay. I think we can start the real cleaning in here. So, capybara is going to the side because I like the tannins to get into this little guy. Same goes for Pear. And then quickly gonna get this leaf away from here. There we go. The tube is really making funny noises underneath the table. There you go. Okay, I am going to clean up these items. There we go. Not sure if I can get my filter clean, but we can always give it a try. I think I find it more difficult to clean this iron filter because it's always kind of... I don't know. So many funny sounds underneath the table because this tube is really working overtime right now. I think I have used all of my water, so I don't have much water left for the table anymore. That was stupid. Oh well, it's okay. Okay, if I've cleaned up my thing, I want to show you guys one thing, which is my huge ass book. For some of you who knows, I am going to study traditional Chinese medicine by starting September. Why? Since I was young, I have always been interested in Asian culture. Like, I've always been interested so much that back in the days, my mom actually not even my mom, but actually the whole family said to me, we would not be surprised if you would marry a Chinese guy. Well, actually I did, so They were not surprised about it. But I've always been into Asian culture, like always. Why? I do not know why. I feel drawn to it. Like the way that the clothing, uh the beauty of their items, there is so much beauty in that cultures. Like so much. Japanese, Chinese, I haven't really been looking into all the other ones, but I know clothing is one thing that really draws me to it. But also a lot of these things there's so much beautiful code. There's so much beauty in that culture. So much. And what also got my interest was the medicine part. I've always been very interested in herbalism from a young age. Never did something with it, by the way, but always into herbalism. And in a way, I was also very interested, intrigued by acupuncture. Like, how is it that people can use needles, and how do they know all the spots, and how do they know and how everything works, and what if a needle is going wrong? Is there something going to happen? So I was always very interested in that one. I haven't had acupuncture. I have it twice, and I want to go back to it and get myself also some treatments, because I feel it can be it can add to Western medicine as well. So I think there's a very good balance between East and Western in that case. And every time when I go to my physiotherapist, who actually also does acupuncture, every time when I look at his books, my eyes were always on acupuncture. Always. Like, it was always there. I don't know why. And I found a school who teaches every other Saturday. And at first I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna do it because it's expensive. And then I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna do it because I most of the time have dancing on the Saturdays and competitions, so that would not be very handy. And eventually I was like, why not? Like, why should I not be doing it? Why should I not be studying it? I mean, I stopped dancing because of an injury that Western medicine didn't find out what was going on. So hopefully I can still try the Asian medicine, see what happens. But I went to a opening or a introduction day, and it was so interesting, and I felt my heart really like on the right spot. It felt like a big yes. It felt so much like back in the days when I studied, when I went for fashion, I had that same yes moment. And this time I also had that yes moment. And I was like, you know what? I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I don't know how the financial part is going to play around, but I feel like the biggest yes in my life that I haven't experienced, like my school back in the days. So yeah, traditional Chinese medicine it is, starting in September, not every Saturday, but every other Saturday. But it is a very big, expensive study. I'm going to start with the first year, which is the traditional Chinese medicine basics. After you get the basics, you can choose an area like acupuncture or herbalism or tuina, if I say that correctly. My heart first goes out to acupuncture, and then the next step where my heart lies is also herbalism. But that's gonna take a lot of years. Ladies studying medicine and reading books, witchcraft, yes, 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 yes. Beautiful. I love witchcraft. So I just get to start on the first year, and I'll see what happens financially for the second, third, fourth, and fifth year. We'll see how it goes. Also, how it goes when I have my first year. I think I will feel like a little bit coming home on that one. Let's see, drying it up. There is enough water on my plate, so... Joe, kun je voor de grap even mijn boeken pakken? Die liggen op de tafel. Sorry, that was very Dutch. I just asked my husband if he could pick up my books, so I don't have to move around. Wait up, I'll just put on the... So these are my first year books, which is heavy AF. Okay, so this book was an optional book. So this is starting your own business for dummies. So if you're going to start your first time your business, this is the first one. Yeah, week 2 and 3. So this was an optional book, but I think if you want to start your own company, then this is quite a practical book to have. But these were the 3 must-haves of the book. I all got them in English, which is not my native language, but let's keep things difficult, right? Because why would you do it easily? This book is Practical Diagnosis in Traditional Chinese Medicine. So this book is about, well, I think this is the smallest of the 3 that I have. This book has 520 pages. So this is a must-have book. I am going to start with the heaviest one. Again, we got this one. Like, it's a chunker. It really is a chunker. This is the manual of acupuncture. It has these little tabs in there, so you can, when you open it up, you can actually have quite the... can I have my webcam on? So you get these kind of pictures in it, a huge bunch of text, also all kinds of name probably. Like I said, I'm new on this topic, so it's heavy AF, by the way. It's really heavy. This has indication index, do we count? 675 pages. 675 pages. And you would think that actually this book would be smaller. Yes, the book is smaller. The pages are thinner. That means there are more pages in there. I got this book secondhand, which is the Foundations of Chinese Medicine, 3rd edition. This is secondhand because books can already be expensive enough. And I was like, you know what? Let's see if I can find a few books that are secondhand, just to cut some of the costs that I can put back in my study. So I found this one secondhand. I can also feel that it is secondhand because it's a bit more wobbly. Yes, the book is smaller, but the pages are thinner. So that means this book... Let's skip the index. Okay. 1,280 pages. So double the size of the orange book that I just had. So yes, that's a load of information, and yes, that is going to take a while. I am not sure if these books are just for the first year or if they're also for second, third year as well. I believe the acupuncture book, the orange one, is also for a second and third year, if I'm correct. because it was stated on the website that if you didn't want to go for acupuncture, then the other book would be, they recommended a different book. So what I think is that this acupuncture book is actually also for the second year as well, for if you want to study acupuncture. That's what I think. So you know what? I'll just start with the must-have books, the 3 of them, and I slowly check what other books are also handy to have, the recommendations of them, because they also have like 10 more recommendation books, which is quite a lot. I know. You don't have to have the recommendation, but I think there might be stories in there that might be handy for your study. So I slowly will save up for them as well. Slowly. Why are you always stuck in my scissor? Why? I don't want you to get stuck in my scissors. I'm quickly going to give it a big wipe in between because I do see some leaves and I'm going to clean it up later. What's this one? There we go. And cleaning up my table as well. There we go. Yes, I got it. That is clean as well. So, there we go. I got it. We had a lovely tea. We had a lovely session. I think this tea might actually be very good for cold brewing, so I think I might get myself a sample set package and see what a cold brew would taste like. Not soon, because Chinese medicine first. I have to pay some things in that as well. But yeah, it was a lovely tea. I like actually how this tea got their different profiles a little bit mixed up in some of these parts. So like there was this sweet chocolate kind, then we had this kind of a sweetness of honey as well going on. There was this bit of a citric kind of flavor, not too strong, actually very light and gentle. Don't that steep this one, because that's, if you like your tea bitter and strong and like a weak coffee, then yes, this would be fine as well. I think this tea might actually be very good as a cold brew, but like I said, I don't have anything left anymore, so I cannot test it. But overall, I think this is a very light, gentle oolong with a surprise of different flavors, different layers in there as well. So if you like an oolong that has a bit of a jumpy in taste, then grab this one. It was very pleasant. I look forward to trying the one, because I also think I have a Buddha's hand oolong tea without the pear, snow pear in there. So, I gotta change my seating again because my legs don't want to go there anymore. There we go. Even though it's the end of the session, I am going to get my chicken and rice because I'm very, very hungry. Very hungry. So I want to thank you guys so much for being here today with my tea session and trying out a new tea with me. I have no idea which tea we're going to try next week. Maybe the same tea but without the snow pear. We'll have a look on that one. But yes, more tea coming up in the future because I have a whole box of oolong ready. So thank you so much for being here with me today, and also lots of fun with chatting with you guys. Also, I wrote down the board game Jaipur, so I can have a look into that one, and chess, although I'm not very good at chess. Looks fun though. It looks fun. I'm going to pop it up in here. I haven't really done it before, but if you want to support me financially in my study of Chinese medicine, I have a Ko-fi up and running on this one, ko-fi.com combined. If you want, if you can, do whatever. sent a tip over there. You don't have to. I just put it out there for the first time. It's like the first time saying it. So, but I'm just already happy with you guys sitting with me here drinking tea. That's means a lot more to me. So thank you very much for being here with me today. And I am going to have my chicken. Is the chicken ready? He isn't answering. So, and I'm also going to molest my cats because I need to eye drop Laylee's eyes. I need to put some medicine in Ayimi. And both cats are having medicine. It's annoying. So, yes, gonna tease my cats, get my chicken, and get a hernia replacing these books again. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much. They will be fine, but it's unpleasant to administer medicine to cats, especially when it comes to their eyes and ears. It's so sad. It's really sad seeing them like that. But they're gonna be fine. They're gonna be healthy, and they are also gonna have a checkup upcoming Friday. So I'll keep you guys posted on that one. Have a nice evening, everybody, and love you so much. Bye bye.